The rescue mission. The spaceship Horizon 1 roared as it entered the atmosphere of the alien planet, shaking violently. Commander Alex Carter, gripping the controls tightly, knew this mission could be his last. His orders were clear: investigate the distress signal coming from the unexplored planet and rescue any survivors. What Alex didn't expect was how this mission would change his life forever. As his ship descended, alarms blared. The atmosphere was unstable, throwing chunks of rock and debris against his ship like an angry storm. Alex's hands moved swiftly, his sharp instincts keeping the ship from crashing too hard. Finally, Horizon 1 hit the ground with a loud thud. Alex felt the impact but sighed in relief. He was alive. For now. Stepping out of the wrecked ship, Alex scanned the terrain. The planet's sky was a strange mix of green and purple, and its ground was covered with jagged, glowing rocks. The air was breathable but thick, carrying an eerie silence. Gripping his blaster, Alex moved cautiously, following the distress signal on his wrist device. After walking for miles, he spotted something in the distance, smoke rising above the hills. His heart raced. Survivors, or worse, a trap. As Alex approached, he saw a convoy of strange, sleek vehicles. They were heavily damaged, with scorch marks and broken parts scattered everywhere. The ground was littered with alien soldiers, their armor cracked and their weapons shattered. Something, or someone, had attacked them. Among the wreckage, Alex spotted a figure crawling, their movements slow and painful. It was a tall alien woman, her silver skin shimmering under the strange light of the planet. She wore an elaborate, battle-worn armor that marked her as someone important. She was no ordinary soldier. Alex hesitated. Humans had little contact with this alien species, the Valorans, and most of it wasn't friendly. But the sight of her struggling to breathe, clutching her wounded side, struck a chord in him. "Help. Me?" The alien woman gasped, her voice weak but commanding. Alex rushed to her side. "Stay still," he said, his tone firm but kind. He pulled out a medkit from his pack. "I'll try to stop the bleeding." As he worked on her wound, the alien's eyes locked onto his. Her gaze was intense, filled with both suspicion and surprise. "You, a human. Why?" "Because you're hurt, and I don't leave people to die," Alex replied without looking up. He injected a healing serum into her wound, hoping it would work on her alien physiology. The woman winced but nodded faintly. "You don't know who I am, do you?" "No idea," Alex admitted, wrapping a bandage around her side. "But I'll find out later. First, let's keep you alive." Suddenly, a loud noise erupted from behind them. Alex spun around, blaster in hand. From the shadows, a group of hostile alien creatures emerged. Their bodies were covered in spiked armor, their red eyes glowing with menace. These weren't Valorans. They were something far more dangerous. The injured woman tried to stand, but Alex pushed her back gently. "Stay down. I'll handle this." The creatures charged, growling and swinging crude, sharp weapons. Alex fired his blaster, taking down the first two attackers with precise shots. But there were too many of them. He ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding a heavy swing aimed at his head. "Behind you," the woman shouted. Alex turned just in time to block an attacker with his blaster. With a swift kick, he knocked the creature back and fired again. His training and quick reflexes kept him alive, but he was outnumbered. Just as Alex began to lose hope, the woman stood. Despite her injury, she raised her hand, and a burst of blue energy shot from her palm, scattering the attackers. The creatures screeched and flowed into the darkness. Alex stared at her, stunned. What was that? The woman leaned against a broken vehicle, breathing heavily. "Valoran energy. A gift of my people," she said. "But it's draining. I can't use it again for a while." Alex helped her sit down. "Well, that was impressive. But you're going to need more than energy blasts to survive this." The woman looked at him with a faint smile. You saved me, human. That's unexpected. My people do not trust yours. Well, maybe it's time for a change, Alex said, offering her some water. What's your name? The woman hesitated before answering. I am Verita, Queen of the Valorans. Alex blinked, his mind racing. He had just saved an alien queen. Your Majesty, he said, his tone unsure. What are you doing out here in the middle of nowhere? Before she could answer, the sound of approaching footsteps interrupted them. A group of Valoran warriors, their weapons raised, appeared from behind the wreckage. They looked at Alex with suspicion and hostility. Stand down, Queen Verita commanded weakly. He is with me. The warriors hesitated but obeyed, lowering their weapons. One of them stepped forward. Your Majesty, are you all right? And who is this human? Verita looked at Alex, her eyes filled with a strange mix of gratitude and curiosity. He saved my life, she said simply. The warriors exchanged glances, clearly uneasy. Alex could feel the tension in the air. He didn't know what he had just gotten himself into, but one thing was clear: his mission was far from over. As the warriors began to escort them back to safety, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something far greater than he had imagined. The alien courtroom. Alex Carter stood in the center of an enormous chamber unlike anything he had ever seen before. The walls shimmered like liquid silver, and alien symbols glowed faintly in the air, floating without support. Around him sat dozens of Valoran council members, their gazes piercing and judgmental. Each member wore elaborate robes that flowed like molten metal, their faces unreadable under ornate masks. The air was thick with tension. Alex wasn't sure how he ended up here. One moment, he was being escorted by Queen Verita's warriors, and the next, he was dragged into this grand chamber, stripped of his blaster, and made to stand on a glowing platform. From her throne at the far end of the room, Queen Verita sat tall, her silver skin glowing faintly under the chamber's light. Though her wound was healed, she still appeared tired. Yet her presence was commanding, and her voice echoed with authority. This human saved my life, she began, her gaze sweeping across the council. Without him, I would not be here today. The murmurs of the council turned into a low hum. One member, an elderly Valoran with a jagged scar across his face, stood. Your Majesty, how can we trust a human? Their kind has only brought war and destruction wherever they go. Alex bristled but kept quiet. He knew better than to speak out of turn. Queen Verita raised her hand, silencing the murmurs. I understand your concerns, Councillor Raynar, but I was there. This man risked his life to save mine, knowing who I was and the consequences of his actions. That is not the behavior of an enemy. Another council member, her voice sharp and cold, leaned forward. Perhaps this is all part of a human strategy, Your Majesty. Gain our trust, infiltrate our ranks, and then betray us from within. Alex couldn't stay silent any longer. With all due respect, he said, his voice steady. I didn't even know who she was when I saved her. I saw someone in danger and did what any decent person would do. If helping someone is suspicious to you, then maybe the problem isn't me. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Speaking to the council like that was clearly not common, and Alex immediately regretted his words. Queen Verita, however, smiled faintly. Bold words, human, she said, her tone almost amused. Perhaps too bold for this council's liking. The platform beneath Alex began to glow brighter, and he felt a strange vibration under his feet. Before he could react, a holographic image of his memories appeared in the air above him. It replayed the moment he found Verita in the wreckage, his decision to save her, and their fight against the alien attackers. The council watched in silence, their expressions unreadable. When the memory ended, the glowing platform dimmed, and the room fell into an uneasy quiet. Councillor Reinhardt broke the silence. Your Majesty, while his actions may seem noble, we cannot ignore the risks. He is still an outsider. Queen Varia stood, her voice sharp and commanding. Enough. I will not stand here and watch you dismiss someone who saved my life as a mere threat. You question his motives, yet none of you were there to protect me when I needed you most. This human acted when others failed. Her words carried weight, and the council members lowered their gazes. Still, the tension lingered. One final figure, a shadowy presence at the edge of the chamber, spoke. His voice was deep and resonant, carrying an air of authority. If the human is to stay, Your Majesty, there must be conditions. Trust is not given freely. It must be earned. Queen Varia nodded. Agreed. I will take full responsibility for him. He will remain in my service, and his actions will determine his fate. Alex raised an eyebrow. Wait, what do you mean by your service? The Queen turned to him, her expression unreadable. It means, human, that you will work directly under my command. You are free to refuse, of course, she added with a sly smile, but given the alternative. Alex glanced around at the council members, their eyes cold and unforgiving. He sighed. Fine. I'll do it. But I'm not here to play politics. If you need me, I'll help. Otherwise, I'd like to get back to my people. The Queen's smile widened. Very well, Commander Carter. Welcome to the Valoran court. As the council session ended, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he had just stepped into a much bigger game than he realized. The Queen's gaze lingered on him as the guards escorted him out, her expression unreadable. Something about her words, and the way she looked at him, made Alex uneasy. He had saved her life, but now he wondered if she had saved his, or if she had trapped him in a web he couldn't escape. The Queen's stunning request. Alex sat in the grand chamber of the Valoran Palace, feeling completely out of place. The room was breathtaking, with walls that seemed to ripple like water and floating crystals that cast soft light across the space. Despite the beauty, Alex was on edge. It wasn't the alien architecture or the guards watching his every move. It was the meeting he'd been summoned to. The doors at the far end of the chamber slid open with a quiet hum. Queen Varia entered, her presence commanding yet oddly calm. She wore an elegant silver robe that shimmered with every step, and her piercing blue eyes locked onto Alex with an intensity that made him shift in his seat. Commander Carter, she began, her voice formal, but not unkind. Thank you for coming. Alex stood, unsure of the protocol. Your Majesty, he said with a slight bow, trying not to sound awkward. What's this about? Varia gestured for him to sit. She took a seat across from him, her movements graceful. I wanted to speak with you privately. What I'm about to say will come as unexpected. Alex's brow furrowed. That doesn't sound good. The Queen leaned forward slightly, her expression softening. You saved my life, Alex. That is no small thing among my people. The Valorans value strength and loyalty above all else, and you've demonstrated both in ways even my own warriors have not. Alex shrugged. I just did what anyone would have done. No big deal. Humility, Varia said with a faint smile. Another rare trait among warriors. But you must understand, your actions have placed me in a difficult position. Alex raised an eyebrow. How so? The Queen hesitated for a moment, as if carefully choosing her words. Then she spoke, her tone deliberate. In Valoran culture, saving a ruler's life creates a bond, a sacred connection that cannot be ignored. By our laws, I owe you a great debt. Alex leaned back, his discomfort growing. I'm not looking for any kind of reward. I just want to get back to my ship, what's left of it, and figure out how to leave this planet. Varia shook her head. It's not that simple. To my people, your actions symbolize more than heroism. They see it as a sign of destiny. A human saving the life of the Valoran Queen is unprecedented. Destiny. Alex repeated, his voice tinged with disbelief. I think you've got the wrong guy. Varia's gaze hardened, though not unkindly. Perhaps, but the council does not see it that way. They are divided. Some view you as a threat, others as a symbol of hope. I cannot afford to let this division weaken my rule." Alex's stomach sank. "What are you saying?" The queen took a deep breath. "I am saying that to ensure the stability of my kingdom, and the safety of both you and myself, I must propose a union." Alex blinked, stunned. "The union?" Varia nodded. "Marriage, Alex. Between you and me." The word hung in the air, heavy and surreal. Alex stared at her, unsure if he had misheard. "You're joking, right?" "I assure you, I am not," Varia replied, her tone steady. "This is the only way to unite my people and silence those who question my leadership. A bond with a human, a savior, would send a powerful message." Alex stood, pacing the room. "This is insane. I'm just a pilot. I'm not royalty. I'm not a diplomat. And I'm definitely not someone who can marry an alien queen." Varia's expression softened. "I understand this is overwhelming. But consider the alternatives. Without this union, my enemies will see your presence as a weakness to exploit. They will turn your act of kindness into a weapon against me. And you." Alex stopped pacing, his jaw tight. "So, this isn't really a choice, is it? It's either marry you or get thrown to the wolves." "I would not put it so harshly," Varia said, standing to meet his gaze. "But yes, your survival, and mine, may depend on this." Alex rubbed the back of his neck, his mind racing. "Why me? There's got to be someone else who fits the bill better than some random human." Varia's eyes softened. "You underestimate yourself, Alex. You showed courage and compassion when you had nothing to gain. That is rare among any species. It is admirable." Before Alex could respond, the door burst open. A Valoran guard rushed in, his face pale. "Your Majesty, assassins have breached the palace." Varia's demeanor shifted instantly. She straightened, her voice sharp. "Protect the chamber. Ensure Commander Carter's safety." The guard hesitated. "They are here for him, Your Majesty. They claim his presence is a threat to the Valoran way of life." Alex's pulse quickened. "Great, just great." Varia turned to him, her expression resolute. "Stay close to me. If they want to test your worth, they will find out why I trust you." As the sound of approaching footsteps grew louder, Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. He didn't know if he could trust Varia, or if he even wanted to. But one thing was certain. He wasn't going down without a fight. The hidden threat. The Valoran night was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that makes every small sound feel like a thunderclap. Alex Carter stood on the balcony of the Queen's palace, staring out at the alien city below. Towers made of shimmering, translucent material spiraled into the sky, reflecting the pale blue light of the twin moons. It was breathtaking, yet Alex felt a knot of unease tightening in his chest. Behind him, Queen Varia approached, her footsteps barely audible on the smooth floor. "You seem restless," she said, her voice soft yet commanding. Alex turned to face her. "Restless is one way to put it. Your council doesn't trust me. Your people see me as an outsider, and now assassins are after me. It's been a long day." Varia gave a faint smile. "You're handling it better than most would. Many would have fled by now." Alex crossed his arms. "Trust me, the thoughts crossed my mind." Before Varia could respond, a soft chime echoed through the room. A Valoran guard entered, his expression grim. "Your Majesty, we've intercepted a message from the outer colonies. It's troubling." Varia's demeanor shifted instantly, her face hardening. "Show me." The guard activated a small device, projecting a holographic image into the air. The image flickered to life, showing a battlefield, a Valoran outpost in ruins. Smoke billowed from shattered buildings, and alien bodies lay strewn across the ground. But what caught Alex's attention were the attackers. They were massive creatures, their bodies covered in dark, jagged armor. Their glowing red eyes and twisted forms reminded Alex of the assassins who had attacked them earlier, but these were far more terrifying. They call themselves the Xarnath, the guard explained, a rogue faction that believes Valoran rule has grown weak. They've begun attacking outposts, claiming they will restore strength to our people. Alex frowned. Let me guess, they don't like humans either. The guard glanced at him, his expression unreadable. The Xarnath see all outsiders as a threat. They believe your presence here proves their point, that we've become too soft, too willing to trust the untrustworthy. Viria's jaw tightened. How long until they reach the capital? 2 days at most, the guard replied. Alex's mind raced. 2 days wasn't much time. What's the plan? He asked. The guard hesitated, looking to Viria for guidance. The queen's expression was unreadable as she turned to Alex. The council will want to negotiate, to attempt diplomacy, but the Xarnath are not the kind to listen to reason. Alex nodded. So, we fight. Viria tilted her head, studying him. You're quick to suggest violence, Commander Carter. I'm quick to suggest survival. Alex shot back. You said it yourself. These Xarnath won't listen. If they get here, they'll destroy everything, including you. We need to be ready. The queen's lips curved into a faint smile. You speak with conviction. Very well. We'll prepare. A plan for defense. Over the next hours, the palace became a hive of activity. Viria summoned her top generals, and Alex joined them, much to the council's dismay. He ignored their glares, focusing instead on the holographic map of the city. We need to fortify these outer gates, Alex said, pointing to key areas on the map. Set up defensive perimeters here and here. If the Xarnath break through, we'll need fallback points. The generals exchanged uncertain glances. One of them, a stern-faced Valoran named General Kale, spoke up. Why should we listen to a human? What does he know of our strategies? Alex met Kale's gaze, unflinching. I know that if you don't listen, your city will fall. The Xarnath aren't coming for negotiations. They're coming for blood. If you want to survive, you'll need every advantage you can get. Kale's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Viria, however, nodded. The human is right. Implement his suggestions. Reluctantly, the generals began coordinating their troops. A dangerous revelation. Later that night, Alex was going over the defense plans in his quarters when there was a knock at the door. It was Viria, her expression unusually serious. We need to talk, she said, stepping inside. Alex raised an eyebrow. Shouldn't you be with your council? They don't need me for this, she replied. But you need to hear what I just learned. Alex leaned against the table, crossing his arms. All right, I'm listening. Viria hesitated, her usual confidence faltering. The Xarnath's leader, he's not just an enemy. He's someone I once trusted. Alex's eyes widened. What are you talking about? She took a deep breath. His name is Krithos, a former general of my army. He believed I was unfit to rule, that I was too compassionate. He defected years ago, taking many warriors with him. Now he's back, and he's stronger than ever. Alex processed this, his mind racing. So this isn't just an attack, it's personal. Viria nodded. Yes, and I fear his hatred for me will only make him more dangerous. Before Alex could respond, the alarm blared throughout the palace. A guard burst into the room, his face pale. Your Majesty, the Xarnath scouts have been spotted near the outer gates. They're here. Alex grabbed his gear, his pulse quickening. Looks like we're out of time. Viria straightened, her expression hardening. Then we fight. As they rushed out of the room, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of a much larger war. The Alliance under fire. The sound of distant explosions echoed through the Valoran capital, shaking the palace walls. Alex Carter stood atop one of the outer gates, his eyes scanning the horizon. In the distance, shadows moved beneath the pale light of the twin moons. The Xarnath were coming, their army a dark wave of relentless warriors armed with cruel, jagged weapons. "You've seen war before, haven't you?" Queen Varia's voice broke the tense silence. Alex glanced at her. She stood beside him, clad in a gleaming battle armor that shimmered like liquid silver. Her energy radiated strength, but her eyes betrayed a hint of worry. "Too many times," Alex replied. "And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that war doesn't wait for you to be ready." Viria nodded, her expression hardening. "Then we won't wait either." She raised her arm, signaling the Valoran troops below. Warriors moved into formation, their energy weapons humming to life. Valoran defense drones floated into position, their sleek designs glowing faintly as they activated. A fragile alliance. Despite the Queen's show of unity, Alex could feel the tension in the air. Many of the Valoran soldiers still eyed him with suspicion. To them, he was an outsider, a wild card in a battle that could determine the fate of their world. One of the soldiers, a young warrior named Liren, approached Alex with a scowl. "Why does the Queen trust you, human? You've done nothing to prove your worth here." Alex met his glare calmly. "I didn't come here to prove anything. I'm here to help. If you want to win this fight, we need to work together." Liren's eyes narrowed. "We'll see if your words mean anything when the Xarnath arrive." Before Alex could respond, a loud screech pierced the air. The shadows on the horizon moved closer, revealing the monstrous forms of the Xarnath warriors. They marched in unison, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. The battle begins. The first wave of Xarnath attackers charged toward the gates. Valoran energy cannons fired bursts of blue light, striking down rows of enemies. But the Xarnath were relentless, their armor absorbing many of the blasts. "Hold the line," Viria commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. Alex joined the front line, his human design blaster humming in his hand. He took aim and fired, taking down a Xarnath warrior who had scaled the wall. Beside him, Liren fought fiercely, his energy sword slicing through the enemy. The Xarnath unleashed a new weapon, a massive siege beast covered in black, spiked armor. The creature roared, its maw glowing red as it charged at the gates. Alex's eyes widened. "What the hell is that?" Viria's jaw tightened. "A war beast. They've enhanced it with energy from our stolen technology." Alex gritted his teeth. "Any bright ideas?" The Queen nodded. "Follow me." A desperate counterattack. Viria led Alex to a concealed platform where a Valoran energy cannon lay dormant. It was enormous, its barrel glowing faintly with residual power. "This weapon was deemed too unstable to use," Viria explained. "But it's our only chance to take down that beast." Alex quickly assessed the controls. "Unstable sounds like fun. Let's fire it up." As the Xarnath beast approached the gates, Alex worked with Viria to power up the cannon. Energy surged through the weapon, its hum growing louder. The beast slammed into the gates, shaking the entire wall. Valoran warriors scrambled to hold their positions, but the creature's strength was overwhelming. "Now," Viria shouted. Alex pulled the trigger, and a massive beam of energy erupted from the cannon, striking the beast directly in its chest. The creature let out a deafening roar before collapsing in a heap, its armor cracked and smoldering. The Valoran warriors erupted in cheers, their morale surging. The Xarnath's true plan. The celebration was short-lived. From the back of the Xarnath ranks, a group of cloaked figures emerged, their hands glowing with dark energy. They began chanting in a guttural language, and the ground beneath the Valoran defenders trembled. Viria's expression darkened. "Krithos. He's here." Alex frowned. "The Xarnath leader. What's he doing?" The Queen's voice was grim. "He's drawing power from the planet's core. If he succeeds, he'll destroy not just this city, but the entire world." Alex's heart sank. "Then we stop him. Now." Viria nodded. "Agreed. But this won't be easy. Krithos is no ordinary warrior. As the Queen rallied her troops for a counteroffensive, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was the Tarnath's true strategy all along. The battle for the city was just a distraction. The real fight was only beginning. The battle for survival. The Valoran capital was a battlefield of chaos and fire. The once shimmering towers now bore scorch marks, their crystalline surfaces cracked from the relentless assault. Alex Carter ran through the rubble-strewn streets, his blaster humming in his hand, his mind racing as fast as his heartbeat. At his side, Queen Varia moved with precision and grace, her energy blade glowing a bright blue as she cut down a Xarnath warrior who had gotten too close. Her silver armor was dented and scratched, but she moved with unwavering determination. "This isn't just a battle," Alex said between breaths. "This is a slaughter. They're overwhelming us." Varia nodded grimly. "If Krithos finishes his ritual, it won't matter how many of us survive here. The entire planet will fall." Alex ducked as a piece of debris flew past his head, a nearby building crumbling under the force of the Tarnath siege beasts. "Then we stop him. Where is he?" Varia glanced toward the distant horizon. "The central energy nexus. If he corrupts it, he'll channel the planet's core energy into a weapon powerful enough to destroy entire systems." "Of course," Alex muttered. "Why is it always a superweapon? A race against time." The duo reached a small outpost where Valoran soldiers were regrouping. General Kale stood at the center, barking orders as his troops scrambled to set up defenses. "Your Majesty," Kale called out, relief and urgency in his voice. "The Xarnath forces are pushing toward the Nexus. We've tried to hold them back, but they're too strong. We'll deal with Krithos ourselves," Varia said, her tone leaving no room for argument. Kale hesitated. "Your Majesty, it's too dangerous. Let me send my elite guard." "No," Varia interrupted. "You're needed here. If the city falls completely, it will be for nothing. Hold the line, Kale." Kale saluted reluctantly, his gaze lingering on Alex. "Protect her, human. If she falls, so do we." Alex gave a tight nod. "That's the plan." The heart of the Nexus. Reaching the energy nexus was no easy feat. The closer they got, the thicker the fighting became. Sarnath warriors swarmed the area, their jagged weapons clashing with the Valoran defenders. Alex and Varia fought side by side, their movements instinctively coordinated. Alex's blaster ran dry, and he switched to a discarded Valoran energy blade. Its weight felt awkward in his hand, but he made it work, cutting down a Xarnath attacker with a clumsy but effective swing. "Not bad for a beginner," Varia teased, slashing through another enemy with practiced ease. "Don't get used to it," Alex shot back. Finally, they reached the entrance to the Nexus, a massive structure glowing with pulsating energy. Inside, the air was thick with a strange, oppressive heat. At the center of the room stood Krithos, his towering form shrouded in dark energy. The confrontation. Krithos turned as they entered, his red eyes gleaming with malice. "Ah, the Queen and her pet human," he said, his voice a deep, mocking growl. "You're too late. The ritual is nearly complete." Alex raised his blade. "Funny, I was about to say the same thing about your reign." Krithos laughed, the sound echoing ominously. "Brave words for someone so insignificant. Do you think you can stop me, human?" Varia stepped forward, her energy blade raised. "You've betrayed your people, Krithos. This isn't strength, it's madness." "Madness," Krithos sneered. "It is survival. The Valoran way has grown weak under your rule. Your alliance with this human is proof of that." Alex rolled his eyes. Yeah, you're the bad guy, and we're all weaklings. Heard it before. Let's skip to the part where we beat you. The fight for the planet." Krithos unleashed a wave of dark energy, forcing Alex and Varia to dive for cover. The room shook as the power of the Nexus flared, cracks forming in the walls. Viria charged first, her blade clashing with Krithos's jagged, glowing weapon. Sparks flew as their strikes collided, the queen's movements precise but strained. Krithos was stronger, his blows sending shockwaves through the room. Alex circled around, looking for an opening. Spotting a control panel near the Nexus core, he realized it might be the key to stopping the ritual. Viria, keep him busy. She didn't respond, too focused on parrying Krithos's relentless attacks. Alex sprinted toward the panel, dodging debris and stray energy blasts. He began frantically pressing buttons, trying to decipher the alien controls. The core's energy surged dangerously, the ritual nearing completion. "Hurry, Alex," Viria shouted, her voice strained. "I'm working on it." Alex snapped, sweat dripping down his face. Finally, he found what he was looking for, a sequence to destabilize the core and stop the ritual. But Krithos noticed. With a roar, he flung Viria aside and charged toward Alex. The sacrifice. Alex braced himself, raising his blade, but Krithos was too fast. Just as the Xarnath leader swung his weapon, Viria intercepted him, her energy blade slicing through Krithos's armor. The blow staggered Krithos, but it wasn't enough to stop him. He retaliated, sending Viria crashing to the ground. Alex seized the moment, slamming the final command into the panel. The Nexus core pulsed violently, emitting a deafening hum. Krithos roared in fury. "You fool! You'll destroy us all." "That's the idea," Alex said, grabbing Viria and pulling her toward the exit. The core exploded in a burst of light, consuming Krithos and his dark energy. Alex and Viria barely made it out as the Nexus collapsed, the ground trembling beneath their feet. The aftermath. As the dust settled, Alex and Viria stood on a hill overlooking the city. The Xarnath forces were retreating, their leader's death breaking their resolve. "You did it," Viria said softly, her voice filled with both relief and gratitude. "We did it," Alex corrected, giving her a small smile. For the first time, in what felt like ages, the queen allowed herself a moment to breathe. But deep down, Alex knew this wasn't the end. There would always be more battles to fight, more challenges to face, and he would be ready. The final test. The Valoran capital was in ruins, but there was a fragile sense of hope in the air. The Xarnath forces had retreated, their leader Krithos defeated. Alex Carter stood on the palace's highest balcony, staring at the rising twin suns. The golden light illuminated the shattered towers and smoldering remnants of the battle, a stark reminder of what had been lost and what had been saved. Behind him, Queen Viria approached, her steps deliberate but softer than usual. Her silver armor was gone, replaced by a flowing ceremonial robe that shimmered faintly. She looked weary but resolute. "We should be celebrating," she said, her voice carrying both gratitude and hesitation. Alex turned, leaning on the railing. "Feels a bit early for that. Krithos is gone, but I doubt the Xarnath are just going to give up." Viria nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "You're right. There's still much to do. But for today, my people need to believe in something greater than fear." Alex raised an eyebrow. "And what about you? What do you believe in now?" The queen studied him for a moment before answering. "In survival. In alliances that were once thought impossible. And," she hesitated, as if weighing her words, "in you." Alex was about to respond when a Valoran guard rushed onto the balcony, his expression urgent. "Your Majesty, we have a visitor." They claimed to have information about the Xarnath's true plan. Viria's eyes narrowed. "Who is it?" The guard hesitated. They wouldn't say. But they're human. A visitor from the shadows. Alex and Viria entered the grand hall, where a lone figure stood at its center. The man was tall, his face partially obscured by a hood. His posture was relaxed, but his presence felt heavy, as if he carried secrets too dangerous to share. When he pulled back his hood, Alex's breath caught. The man looked strikingly familiar. His features were sharp, his eyes piercing, and his demeanor calculated. "Name's Marcus Kane," the man said, his voice calm but edged with authority. "Commander Alex Carter, Queen Varia. We need to talk." Alex frowned. "And who exactly are you?" "Let's just say I represent a group of people who've been watching your little war from afar," Marcus replied. "And I'm here to tell you that Krythos was only the beginning." Varia stepped forward, her tone sharp. "Explain yourself." Marcus held up a small device, projecting a hologram of a distant galaxy. A bright red marker pulsed near its edge. "This," Marcus began, pointing to the marker, "is a Xarnath stronghold. It's where Krythos was drawing his power from, and it's where the rest of his army is regrouping. They've built a weapon there, one capable of targeting multiple systems at once." Alex's stomach tightened. Another superweapon. Marcus smirked faintly. "Not just any weapon. This one uses Valoran energy tech, amplified by the Xarnath's twisted science. If they finish it, they won't just take out this planet. They'll wipe out your entire alliance, human and Valoran alike." The final mission. Varia exchanged a glance with Alex. "If what he says is true, we have no choice. We must strike before they can finish it." Alex nodded. "Agreed. But we're going to need more than a few soldiers and a busted fleet to pull this off." Marcus folded his arms. "That's where I come in. I've got access to a human strike team, top-tier fighters. We'll infiltrate the stronghold, sabotage their weapon, and get out before they know what hit them." Varia's expression was unreadable. "And why should we trust you?" Marcus shrugged. "You don't have to. But if you want your people to survive, you don't have much of a choice." Alex sighed. "Great. Another shady deal. Just what we needed." The infiltration. The mission began hours later. Marcus led the team, with Alex and Varia accompanying him. They used a stolen Xarnath transport ship to approach the stronghold, its sleek black surface blending into the darkness of space. As they entered the atmosphere, the tension was palpable. The stronghold was massive, its towers bristling with weaponry. "This is insane," Alex muttered as they landed in a concealed docking bay. "Welcome to my world," Marcus replied, grinning. The team moved swiftly, navigating through narrow corridors and avoiding patrols. Varia's energy blade hummed softly as she dispatched a lone guard, her movements silent and precise. At the core of the stronghold, they found the weapon, a massive structure pulsating with dark energy. Its size was staggering, its power undeniable. The final test. Marcus began setting explosives around the weapon, his movements efficient and methodical. "This should do the trick," he said. But before they could finish, an alarm blared. The room flooded with Xarnath soldiers, their weapons raised. Alex and Varia fought back to back, their blades and blasters cutting through the enemy. Marcus joined the fray, his combat skills as sharp as his words. In the chaos, a massive figure entered the room. It wasn't Kryth, but another Xarnath leader, a towering armor-clad warrior with glowing red eyes and an aura of sheer dominance. "I am Sarek, Krythos' second-in-command." The figure boomed, his voice echoing through the chamber. "You think you can stop what we've built? Foolish." Sarek raised his weapon, a massive axe crackling with dark energy, and charged at Alex. A fight to the end. Alex dodged the initial strike, the axe crashing into the floor and sending a shockwave through the room. Varia leaped forward, her energy blade meeting Sarek's weapon in a clash of sparks. Marcus provided cover fire, taking out advancing soldiers as Alex joined Varia in the fight. Sarek was powerful, his strikes relentless. But together, Alex and Varia managed to outmaneuver him. Varia landed a precise slash across his armor, exposing a vulnerable core. "Now, Alex," she shouted. Alex didn't hesitate. With all his strength, He plunged his blade into Xaruk's core. The Xarnath leader roared in agony before collapsing, his energy dissipating into the air. A desperate escape. Marcus called out, "Explosives are set. We've got 2 minutes to get out of here." The team sprinted through the corridors, the stronghold shaking violently as the weapons core began to destabilize. Explosions erupted around them, and Alex could feel the heat of the energy surging through the walls. They barely made it to the transport ship as the stronghold erupted in a blinding flash, the weapon and its surrounding forces obliterated. The ship rocketed away, the shockwave pushing it forward, as the crew held on for dear life. The New Alliance. Back on the Valoran capital, the surviving soldiers greeted them as heroes. The destruction of the Xarnath stronghold was a turning point, a moment that united humans and Valorans in a common cause. Queen Varia addressed her people, her voice steady and filled with hope. "Today we have proven that unity is our greatest strength. Together, we will rebuild. Together, we will ensure the Xarnath threat is no more." As the crowd cheered, Alex stood at her side, his expression thoughtful. Marcus approached him, his grin returning. "Not bad, Carter. You've got a knack for impossible missions." Alex smirked. "Don't get used to it." Varia turned to Alex, her gaze soft. "You've given my people hope, Alex. For that, I am eternally grateful." Alex shrugged. "Guess saving the galaxy is just another day at the office. A new beginning." As the twin suns set over the city, Alex looked out at the horizon, a sense of purpose settling over him. The battle was over, but the fight for lasting peace had just begun. And this time, he wasn't fighting alone.